Tim, I love how whenever you meet someone like who I like new to you, you suddenly sound way more Australian. Like you go, like you and I just talking, and then I say, "Oh, Tim, meet Matt," and you go, "G'day, Matt. How are you, mate?"
G'day, Matt.
Yeah,
Cobber, how are you?
yeah.
It was very
You well?
Australian. I felt like it might have been a little bit performative just to make me feel like I was being introduced to something new, but I liked it. It was homey. It was welcoming.
It was exotic. Tim, we have a special guest today, all the way from the US of A, which has made this an incredibly logistically difficult episode to make. But we have Matt Whitman, who is someone I always enjoy seeing and I've always wanted you to meet. And now it's happening. Matt Whitman, 10-Minute Bible Hour, various podcasts, videos. He also is the co-host of No Dumb Questions with Destin Sandlin. Matt Whitman, welcome. Meet Tim.
Hi, Tim. Nice to be here. Thanks for the nice introduction, Brady.
G'day, Matt. Welcome to Australia online. How are you? Good to have you.
I'm really nervous, but I want to say good day back because I feel like I need to, but I feel like I have too many O's in good when I say good day. And so I feel like a fraud.
That's right. It's a good. It's a short.
No
Yeah.
O's. No O's, and not even the D. It's just just the G. Good day. And then the D for day.
Good. Oh, so you're cutting the last. Okay. Yeah, I get it. It's a contraction. It's like the way they used to do contractions in old hymns, like heaven.
That's right.
Like that you shouldn't be able to contract that, but you can with an apostrophe. It's just that simple.
Yeah, that's right. Let me come to where you are.
Yeah.
Hey, bud.
What's up, bro? That was really good. You sounded real.
I always feel like when I'm talking to an American bro, like it's like you're talking to a little kid a little bit, like you're ruffling their head. Hey, bud, how are you? You old sport. You can do it, man. You can make third base, you know?
Like I want to defend myself and I want to defend my entire country, but it's pointless because everything you're saying is true.
It's affectionate. It's affectionate, but it's like, yeah, you know, like I'm encouraging a kid to take third base next time, you know? You'll get him.
Right on, champ. Way to be, sport. Good
Champ.
job, Ace.
Yeah, that's it. Champ.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Love it. Yeah.
Matt, we look forward to hearing some podcast ideas from you because that's what we're all about here on the Unmade podcast. But we don't think it's fair to throw you in the deep end straight away. So what we like to do is warm you up with a podcast idea of our own. And I'm just going to say it. I've come up with something pretty special for you.
I can't wait.
You should be excited. This is. I've pulled out all the stops today.
I'm nervous.
Do you want to hear my idea for a podcast?
Solidly, yes.
This is partly based on the game, and I think it was a game show too that a lot of people will be familiar with, Mr. and Mrs. You familiar with the Mr. and Mrs. game?
I'm not, but I think I could guess. Like this sounds like the what did they call the show back in the 70s where you get a couple and you ask them each a question and you try to see how close they can get the answer to each other? Is that like that?
Yeah,
Okay.
Mr. and Mrs. Okay,
Mr. and
so
Mrs. it is.
as you're aware, because I did not do this behind your back, I have spoken to your wife because I'm going to do a Mr. and Mrs. with you. But here's the twist. Here's the modern podcasty twist.
Okay.
This isn't just Mr. and Mrs. This is Mr. and Mrs. and co-host. Because you have a podcast co-host, Destin Sandlin, friend of mine, friend of the show, been on here before.
Likeable guy.
I've also asked him the same questions that I've asked your wife, Camilla, and I'm now going to ask you. And I want to hear your answer to these questions.
I'm sweaty.
Because, you know, it's interesting. Yeah. But the point of the game is not for them to necessarily match your answer. It's good if they do and interesting. But the game here is you give me the answer to the question and then you tell me what you think Camilla will say your answer is and what Destin thinks your answer will be. So if I was to say to you, Matt, what's your favorite number? You could say something like this. Well, Brady, my favorite number is 7. And I think Camilla knows that, and I think Camilla will say my favorite number is 7. I think Destin will think my favorite number is 12 for whatever reason. So the challenge is not to get the questions right because none of them are factual questions. They're all opinions. The challenge is can you figure out what Camilla and Destin thought your answer would be?
Okay. I'm excited and I feel weird. So this should
You
be
with
great.
me?
Yeah. Yes, this is exactly the right mix of uncomfortable and troubling to my marriage and friendship.
Yes, it could be devastating.
It could be. Well, this is the interesting thing about it, because there's someone's going to be affirmed and someone's going to be just a little bit, jacked off, right? So if your wife, if it turns out that Destin, you know what I mean, knows you, your soul, your heart, your life intimately well, but your wife, not so much, then that's has all kinds of implications.
Exactly the word I had in mind. Implications. Yep.
Jacked off?
Did you see me make a gesture there, Brady? I made a gesture, and I'm like, you know what, Australians? Is that a thing you say there for just irritated? Because we don't use that expression.
I don't use that in England.
For that.
Did I used to say that in Australia?
It's a thing, isn't it? I know it's a thing.
It's a thing. It's definitely a thing.
It is a thing, but it's not. It's not the thing I think you think it is.
Okay.
I wouldn't.
Let me.
I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't Google. Okay.
I wouldn't Google. Tim's Googling jacked off on his phone right now. I hope that's not a church paid for
I'm gonna be
phone.
the only member of the program who doesn't say it.
Yeah, we'll just move on. That's a.
The first question is, what is Matt's favorite color? So, Matt, tell us what your favorite color is, then tell us what you think Camilla's going to say and what you think Destin's going to say.
Blue is the correct answer. Camilla's going to say blue. Destin is going to say blue.
Blue.
He likes earthy tones. Like, he likes mountains and stuff. I want to say brown. That's the dumbest thing ever, but I think deep in his heart, I think he likes the mountains in brown.
And Matt is wearing a brown, very earthy t-shirt right now.
I really am.
And I have to say, you were emphatic, and you said Camilla would be emphatic, and she was emphatic. She didn't say anything else. She just went blue. Next question. So
I like Destin's answer, though. I mean, that was a thoughtful answer. We've never really sat around and talked about our favorite colors.
yeah, well, Destin. He lays it on a bit thick with the thoughtfulness. So, but let's just call blue a blue.
Let's call it blue.
Do you think, I have a theory that blue is the most popular favorite color? There are clearly shades of blue, but you know what I mean? I think blue is very popular, super popular.
Yeah.
What would be your version of blue that you like best?
I love a real navy blue. Do you have that term? Dark, deep
Is what you're
blue?
wearing? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we have navies here.
I love the way Tim is speaking to Matt like he's like come off a spaceship. I like navy blue. Do you know what navy blue is?
I know he knows what the navy is, but I don't know if that's an English way of speaking.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Look,
after Jack Gate, you're being very cautious. Navy blue is actually a very rude term in America. Let's move on to the next question.
Okay, fair enough.
Who is Matt's all-time favorite athlete or sports player?
Wow, the correct answer is George Brett, third baseman for the Kansas City Royals. However, Nikola Jokic, center for the Denver Nuggets, is really challenging for that position. He's delightful. I root for the big Serb. So I think Camilla is going to say, I think they're both going to say George Brett, but I bet somebody mentions Nikola Jokic.
Well, let's find out.
That one's trickier because I would say he has a few. But I'm going to go with George Brett as being number one, just because he's his childhood favorite. I think John Elway and Peyton Manning come in close, but they're not quite there, I don't think.
George Brett, Kansas City Royals.
I feel great about that.
they're pretty good.
Yeah, you're looking a bit smug, Matt.
I'm feeling a bit smug.
I've started with a couple of easy ones.
Yeah.
They get harder.
Are these both? These
okay.
are both baseball players. Is that right?
Nikola Jokic is a basketball player.
Oh, right.
And the last two that Camilla named were quarterbacks, footballers.
I've heard of Peyton Manning. Yeah, yeah.
And those would be my top four ever. I mean, she did great.
Have you met any of them, Matt?
Huh. No, I haven't. I haven't met really many of the people I look up to. I met one of my childhood heroes just last week, but that's probably
Who?
I'll give you a hint. I brought him my grandfather's accordion, and he signed it for me.
Ooh,
Oh,
golly gosh.
I don't know any accordion players.
One of the guys in the back row of the Counting Crows. I mean,
That's a really good guess. Now, Weird Al Yankovic. I met my favorite childhood musician last week, and it was delightful. And he signed my accordion, which...
Where do you sign an accordion? What part of the accordion do you sign it on?
Brady Heron, you ask all the right questions. I didn't know that either. And so I brought it to Weird Al, and we were having a nice chat. And I was like, so this is weird, but I got this accordion. You're into accordions. My granddad played it. But if somebody plays it again, I don't want to ruin it. Where do you think we should sign it so that we don't ruin it? And he was very thoughtful, and he perused around it, complimented the instrument, which was thoughtful, and then picked a spot where you could really see it, but where he said, it'd be no good reason to touch it there. So I don't know. I'd have to show you. I mean, I guess I could show you, but it wouldn't do anybody else any good.
Paint a picture. You're a professional podcaster. Paint a picture with words. You can tell
how
us
does
where
an
it was signed.
accordion? Can you picture an accordion?
yeah.
Yes.
I'm impressed.
My dad played the accordion.
Okay, so it's like two mittens. You slide your hands into these two kind of leather braces, and that allows you to work the bellows. The accordions are like a bagpipe in that regard, that it's bellowed. That's how you get the sound out of the thing. And so on the one side, you've got a bunch of buttons, and those little buttons are sort of like a harmonica in their function. They just play a chord for you. And on the other side, you have a little miniature keyboard. I don't know how many, like maybe 2 octaves, maybe something like that. And above the keyboard, there's this little part that kind of ramps up. It's red and it's marbled, like mother of pearl kind of look. And you'd have to have very long, flexible fingers to ever get up there and nick that signature. So he put it up above on that red mother of pearl looking stuff.
I'm still disappointed that you've had this signed and you're going to keep it in use. Like, this feels like it should be in a glass case now. It's like it's become more precious than it is as a playing instrument. I feel like it should be retired, preserved. Like, if you got George Brett to sign a baseball for you, would you say, can you be careful what side you sign it on? Because I'm going to go out and have a hit with my kids with this ball later on. No, you wouldn't. You would put that thing in a glass case.
The funny thing is, it's exactly what I did. I brought a catcher's mitt to a very recent Old Timers game when I was a kid at Mile High Stadium in Denver. And they had Hall of Famers were playing. Harmon Killebrew was in that game. Gigantic names were in the game. And I went down there as I guess I was the right age to be adorable and get on the field. Everybody signed that catcher's mitt, but I didn't have another catcher's mitt, and I still wanted to play baseball. We didn't have money to get another one. So I still have that thing around somewhere, but you can only see tiny bits of the signatures of these Hall of Famers because of my years of use. So I guess we're different.
You can't be trusted with nice things.
I deserve that.
What is Matt's favorite book of the Bible?
Oh.
Now we're getting tasty.
Oh, dear.
And Tim is going to judge you here as well. Because Tim is very judgmental about these sort of things.
That's right. That's Jesus instructed us to be highly judgmental about spiritual matters.
See, everybody's going to think I'm a chump if I say Matthew, but it's probably Matthew.
Why?
Well, it's my name's on it because my parents named me after him on purpose. And they named my brother Mark, and so Mark can't be my favorite. I mean, it is Matthew, but it's not Matthew because it's my namesake. It's Matthew because Matthew is, to me, it's a connective tissue that makes all the Old Testament and New Testament stuff fit together. It's delightful the way you go from 400 years of nothing happening to just a list of names in Matthew that the first time you read it, you're bored. But then when you've actually hung out in the Old Testament a lot, all of a sudden you're like, every one of these names has a giant story attached to them. And it's like saying that Jesus he's the completion of all those loose ends of all the stories in the Old Testament. And I like the Old Testament too. So I'm going with Matthew. I am going to say Camilla got it right. And I am going to say Destin says John. That's my guess.
Wow. That one's way harder. He's probably said it on his podcast too, and then I just don't know it. So I'm going to say Luke.
I knew he liked the Book of Esther. I knew he liked that. But I would have to say John, but I know Matthew is something he likes as well.
There we go.
There's a bit of fence sitting going on there, but I mean,
I mean,
there you go.
They named all of my favorite books of the Bible.
You can tell that Camilla's your wife because she openly admits to not listening to your podcast.
Does anybody's wife listen to their podcast?
No.
I hope not.
No way in the world.
I hope they're doing productive things.
What place that he's never visited would Matt most like to explore?
Okay, Camilla is going to say Persia. She's going to say, I would like to go to Susa in Iran, or she'll say New Zealand. Destin will say New Zealand, or he'll say Susa. He'll say Persia.
I mean, that's a bit of fence sitting going on there. But you're giving two answers to both. What is the actual answer?
If I absolutely had to pick and there were no political ramifications and it would be an easy, safe trip, I would rather see Susa. I'd like to see the city of Esther and Xerxes. I love the Persian Empire. I want to see all the Persia stuff, but it's like the forbidden fruit because it's hard for Americans to travel to Iran. So I want to see the old homeland of the Medes and the Persians where all of those cool Herodotus stories are from way back at the beginning of history. And it's also in the Bible, but it'll probably never happen. So it makes me probably want it more.
Well, let's hear the answers from your wife and your internet husband.
Gross.
Okay, I think Asia, but I don't really know what part of Asia. So China, Japan, Southeast Asia. So I think there's a ton of room there for interesting historical places for him to visit that he hasn't been. But Asia feels kind of like a cheat because it's a 1 in 7 shot. So I think maybe I'll say China, narrow it down a little bit more.
I would have to say the tomb of Cyrus the Great in Iran.
Wow.
Score 1 for internet husband. That is troubling.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I love Chinese history because I didn't know anything about it until after I was done going to college for history. And then I went and learned about that in my 20s, and it was like starting all over. Like, what if there was a whole other world and the whole thing started over and everybody figured everything out at about the same pace? China.
Matt, you're always being so gracious, and no matter what they say or you say, you're like, oh, yeah, that's true as well. Yeah, they really know me. Come on, man. She was wrong, and you were wrong about what she would say. There is wrongness here, and I want it acknowledged.
I am humiliated. I feel bad about myself, but my wife's answer was solid. It was good. And let's see if I can criticize her on the next one. I want to be angry. I need a minute to muster it.
Here comes the next question. What would Matt do if he had an afternoon all to himself and the family was away?
Camilla is going to say fly fishing on a creek or find somebody to go play. They're both going to say that. Dude, they both know that's what I'm going to do.
What?
I'm going to work or I'm going to go fly fish. Maybe I'll go play tennis if I have somebody.
I don't think you're quite understanding the one answer aspect of the questions. I want your one answer and I want their one answers.
Fly fishing, fly fishing, fly fishing.
That's your answer.
Those
and that's
are all
their
three answers. Yeah, it's all three answers.
We got fly fishing. Okay, let's find out. Let's go to the experts.
If he didn't have work to catch up on, he would probably go fishing or play tennis with friends. Let's go fishing.
I think he'd like to say he'd go fishing, but he would probably work. He would probably work.
Dude, what is going on?
They do know you. There's a kindred spirit in Destin, though. I think I can feel that he knows.
The question here, though, is does this mean, like, there's a closeness here, there's, love between these three people, or is Matt just a simple, pretty one-dimensional guy?
Well, it can only be one or the other.
So fly fishing, I love the idea of fly fishing. I've never been fly fishing. It wasn't something we did in the town I grew up in. Certainly fishing was everywhere, but fly fishing seems a really exotic and an amazing ability. Have you been into it for a long time?
I picked it up about 15 years ago, and straight up, no irony here. What I love about it is that you get in the water. So this is this whole other world that I can't really live in because I can't breathe in there. And you see these beautiful animals in there. I mean, high mountain trout are just, they look like they belong in the Caribbean. They're so colorful and beautiful. And without hurting them, because of the way their bony jaws are, I can get them out. I can hold them while standing in their environment. and let them go without harming them. And it's like this point of contact between two worlds, and it's just absolutely serene. And with fly fishing, you don't provoke the fish as much as you kind of cooperate with them. You've got to serve them their food exactly the way they want it to get them to come up and take that off the surface, just because of the kind of hunters they are. So you have to really be in the environment and feeling the environment and the conditions and the bugs and all of that stuff. And so for me, any kind of fishing is cool, but fly fishing is the pinnacle. And I can't imagine doing it in Australia, because I imagine that anytime you get within 10 feet of any water there, some prehistoric reptilian monster just lurches out and bites off your hand. That's what I saw in movies.
Yeah, but they hold your hand and they look at the colors and they admire the hand, and then they release it back in amongst us again.
And being eaten by a crocodile is almost as a sort of a cooperative experience.
That's right. Yeah,
Beautiful.
doesn't hurt them because of their bony, sort of massive jaw. But
Do you guys see crocodiles daily, weekly, monthly, annually? What's your rate of crocodiling?
I mean, where Tim and I are from, they don't live. Never.
never.
That's boring.
I've seen a couple of crocodiles in my life, and they were in a park zoo kind of experience. That you've got to go way up north to northern Australia to see crocodiles. Yeah.
Do you know where I saw crocodiles in the wild?
Tell me.
On safari on the Mara River in the Masai Mara, and there were thousands and thousands and thousands of wildebeest and zebra all backed up, going to the river, all stopping because they could see all the crocodiles in the water, like must have been 100 crocodiles waiting for them to cross, but they had to cross, and there was more and more backing up behind them, and they waited and they waited and they waited, and eventually they went, all right, we're going. And thousands of zebras and wildebeest and that all went running across the river through these crocodiles, and it was an absolute feeding frenzy. It was amazing.
You saw them get ripped up?
Oh, yeah, because at first they were jumping in individually, like 2 or 3 at a time and swimming across, and you'd be going, come on, dude, you can make it. Come on, dude, come on. And you'd see all the crocodiles converging from different angles, and you're going, come on, you can make it. Poof. You didn't make it.
You didn't make it.
And occasionally one would kick them away and get free, and you'd be going, yeah. But eventually they all just go. They all run. And then it's just sheer weight of numbers means that most of them get across, but they're still getting picked off. It was pretty amazing. Amazing.
I mean, I've been on the African continent quite a bit. I worked there for a while and saw a lot of Nile crocodiles, but never saw any action. The most I ever saw from a Nile crocodile was just sloughing down a bank into the water and disappearing. I never saw anything like that.
It was because it's during the migration, the Masai Mara. It's pretty extraordinary.
Is that the best nature moment of your life in terms of wildlife?
Yeah. I mean, all the things that happened on that trip would have been on the safari. It was incredible. Yeah, a cheetah jumping up on the vehicle was really cool.
Come on.
Yeah. They because to the cheetahs, the cars are just boulders that move. They don't see them as animals or humans and that. They're just vantage points that are moving around. So as you drive around in your 4x4 and then you stop, if you go across the path of a cheetah, it will just run up and jump on the bonnet of your car or up on the roof so it can look around and see what's going on. So, yeah. Anyway, enough holiday stories. Okay. Here's another question.
Okay.
If Matt could eat only one food for the rest of his life, what would it be? Health and sustenance are not an issue.
Okay. Camilla is going to say In-N-Out Burger. Destin is going to say ribeye steak.
Okay.
I am going to say steak.
Okay, I'm wavering between hamburgers and pizza. I think I'm going to say a hamburgers.
Oh, Matt doesn't like healthy food at all. He likes really low quality fast food. The greasier and worse for you, the better. So he would say Freddy's, probably. They just got a Freddy's in Rapid City, and I think he would say Freddy's.
Those are good answers. I can't be mad at them. I don't know what to say. Those are really good answers, other than Destin the hypocrite saying that I like greasy, lowbrow food. There's a restaurant in Alabama called Crystal, they serve these tiny little slider burgers, and they are revolting. Among the worst things humans have ever invented. And he just pounds that stuff all the time. Then he has the nerve to say that me liking Freddy's is a problem. No, he and I are in a fight. He'll hear about it.
I also want to point out that about an hour after recording with Camilla, she sent me an email saying, I can't live with myself. I have to revisit my answer on that question. And she wanted to change her answer to ribeye steak. So for the record, she changed it to ribeye steak. But you predicted she'd say burgers, and that's what she said.
Yeah.
So in some ways, she should have probably stuck with her answer. But
I guess between the two of them, they're catching everything, which is very impressive.
it's good. It's good.
Can I just ask, In-N-Out Burger, I've heard of that before. Is that a million miles away from McDonald's, Burger King, or Wendy's? Is it the same kind of thing, or is it some other thing?
A million miles away. You know how you feel? You guys have had McDonald's? You have McDonald's there? You ever eat?
Yes, I've also
We've
had a lot
heard
of
of it,
In-N-Out Burger.
yeah.
And I would not describe them as being a million miles apart.
Oh, they're a million miles apart.
In-N-Out Burger is superior.
It's
And-
health food. It's good for you. It's packed with vitamins and minerals. McDonald's is a metaphor for guilt and shame and revulsion at yourself. You go there, you decide you're going to eat it, you order the stuff, and you're like, actually, this is pretty good, until in an instant, a snap, a flash of an eye, a twinkling, you go from, I want this, to get this crap out of my face now. It turns into the most revolting thing you can imagine. And I don't even know why it flips. But then it's like, no, I can't even have this on my tray or on my table anymore. Take it away. It's got to go. Not another bite, nothing. But you don't feel that way with In-N-Out. You don't feel weird and bloaty and gross after In-N-Out Burger. I think they use better stuff. So 500,000 miles apart.
So, but it's like it's a franchised place where it's like a burger, fries, drink, and you know what I mean? Like you drive up and it's that kind of thing. It's not like a go in, sit down restaurant or a food truck. It's not gourmet. It's, you know what I mean?
No, it's a franchise where they do your burgers and chips. They make them a bit more. They seem to make them a bit more fresh, don't they? Like they're kind of made to order a bit more.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah, they jam the potatoes through the potato squisher. Like you can see them making the fries on site.
Oh, okay.
Chips,
Yeah,
as it
sure.
were,
Yeah.
As opposed to taking a bag out of a freezer and cutting it and shaking it into a fryer. So I mean,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Matt, where do you stand on Five Guys?
It's good. It's getting unbelievably expensive. How much does a burger cost there?
I don't know, but Five Guys has gone crazy expensive in the UK because I was a bit of a fan, but it's just so pricey now to eat there. It's like eating at a gourmet restaurant.
I used to hit up Five Guys when I was in the UK because it was familiar and pretty expensive, but here it has gone insane.
Yeah, I tried Five Guys when I was in London last year, and the hot dogs, they're pretty awesome, but they're not so awesome for the, what is it, £15 or £10 or something crazy.
What? Do you guys have to tip when you go to Five Guys in the UK?
No.
Oh, that's wild. So for us, burger, fries, drink, I think I'm at about 21, 22 US dollars for Five Guys. And then on top of that, the machine asks me for a tip. I don't remember what the percentages are, but they're all going up. I'm starting to see 30% as an option for a suggested tip.
If Matt could change one physical attribute about himself, what would it be?
I hate this question because this is on the internet and people listen to it.
Well, lie.
Dang it. No, I'm not going to lie. I'm going to think hard and I'm going to give an honest answer. All right.
All right.
What would I go with? All right. This is what I'll go with. My almost answer is I really miss hair. It was great. I don't need to attract women. Like I'm great, Camilla. Like we're just happy as clams over here. But this is something people don't know about baldness. You feel beautiful scenery and beautiful moments with the hair on your head more than you realize, and you don't realize that until it's gone. So you go stand on the beach. How do you feel the beach and the sea breeze and the evening air? You feel that in your hair. When that goes away, it's like you can't hear a symphony properly. It's like you just can't taste a really good meal. Half of the experience is missing because it's like the subtle sensory parts of you that pick up on those really beautiful moments that involve ambience and cool air and the collision of warm and cold air. All that's gone. So I miss just having that full sensory experience, particularly on mountaintops and beaches and while fly fishing. But it's not what I'm going with.
Okay.
I am going to go with, I would like to be in my 40s as I currently am, but the one physical attribute I would like to change is have my 25-year-old body with my current knowledge set. There, just that little thing. That's all I'd like to change.
Right. And what do you think Camilla and Destin will say?
I can't believe you accepted that. Seriously, we're not going to fight? You're not going to give me like some kind of rules I didn't know about or something?
No, that's there. Of course, you want to be more athletically capable.
I heard the
Yeah.
I heard the full answer, and the thing I'm taking away is that you really want hair. That's what
just that. I'm just trying to put some dignity on it, man.
I mean, I didn't believe that whole, wind in my hair part. You just want hair because people with hair look cool.
Both of you sitting there with your big, handsome heads of hair.
Don't you get something else though by being bald? Like when you feel the rain and the wind and the water and you swim and that, don't you feel something we don't get to feel? Like a purity, like a real skin on, not skin on skin, but skin on water or skin on, haven't you got more skin touch receptors doing something?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Because like a lot of people love the feeling when they shave and their skin's really completely clean shaven. They think it's a beautiful feeling, and you're having that feeling on top of your head all the time.
I just think in general, I think there's just less sensitivity on top of you. I mean, I felt like I felt more stuff with my head when I had hair. Now it feels like this is one of the least sensitive parts of my body. I notice it when I stand up and ram into things.
Okay.
But other than that, it's kind of boring. I don't know. Kind of boring. But just easy for you guys to say.
What's Camilla going to say and what's Destin going to say that your answer is?
Camilla's going to say taller, I bet, because I like sports and there's more sports that you can play with taller. I think Destin's going to say hair.
I think you'd want to be taller. Yeah, taller. He used to try really hard to grow. He would just wish really, really hard.
I would say Matt makes a lot of jokes about his hair, but it would probably be his hair.
Nailed that one, mate. Nailed it.
Are we just ruining the segment by having it all be right?
No. I'll tell you a little secret. Mm-hmm. A lot of people listening right now are going to be thinking, oh, I'd love to hear Brady and Tim play this game and hear what their wives say and what Tim and Brady say about each other. We have done that, and it will be in the request room for this episode as like bonus content on Patreon. And if you want to hear some wrongness, you can go there instead. But let's continue with Matt.
Okay. Can I just clarify, Matt, about the tall thing? Like you're sitting down and we've not met in person. Is it are you on the shorter side, or is it just that you're sort of 6 foot and you want to be 6'6" because then you could play center playing basketball? Where do you put yourself?
I'm 5'8" on a tall day, and if I'm feeling real slumpy, I might get down to like 5'7.5", which to me, like, I don't know. I like it. It's worked pretty well to play all the sports. I like all the sports. I play all the sports. Still, I play all the sports. But man, I look at people who are 6'2", 6'4", and I think you don't have to do nearly as much to get over there and get that ball. You just get another 8 inches on your wingspan. That's got to be easy. So
You've got the lower center of gravity, which helps with some things, but
and you look pretty buff. Like you're making the most of it.
Thanks, man. I'm trying. I tell you what works well with short is hips. Like any sport where you get to put your hip into somebody else, short is the advantage. That center of gravity right there. It's so like hockey. It works pretty well for hockey, but volleyball, which I really like, basketball, even tennis. Man, 6'4". What could you do with that?
Fly fishing. How does it impact the fly fishing?
I've never thought about. Well, you could wade into deeper water. I definitely want to be taller now. You could wade into deeper water because I've got I'm a lot of torso here, so I only get a couple feet of wading, and then I'm up over my waders, and apparently that's dangerous. So yeah, no, it's good for everything. It's good for everything. Whatever.
Here's another question.
All right.
If Matt accidentally smashed his finger with a hammer, what word would he reflexively say?
Are there people around?
That wasn't part of the question, so
Ah.
give us both options.
Okay, I'm going to give you both options. Here's how this one works. My mental calculus. I'm a religious person, and I think there is a God. And from time to time, I pray to God as best as I can understand God. But also, I think that God knows everything, which means I have decided that when I try to pray, there is no point in pretending. So my prayers are just, I try to keep them all sanitary, but I'm like, you already know that I'm substituting a word. Like if you're there and you know everything and you're truly that being, that no greater being than you can be imagined, like you already know what I was formulating. So if there's nobody around, it's just me and God in the wind. I don't know. But if there are people around, I will usually use a harsh substitute F-bomb. I'll usually hit a really grouchy frickin' or frick if I smash my thumb. Because I don't want to make other people sad or whatever.
Yep.
Nobody's around. I might just fire one off. Just
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, just I might pick one of the 7 forbiddens and
Yep.
just fire that off.
Just between you and God?
That's right. Yep. And then we just work that out afterwards.
Yeah. You can sort that out. You can sort that out when you get up there, up to the pearly gates. He'll be like, look, Matt, I know it hurt, but did you have to? And you'll be like, come on, man.
I'm sorry.
You know how much it hurt.
It hurt a lot. You know all things. I'm just going to try it. I've got this here. I'm just going to, yeah. I say, that's one. That was real. I hit that harder than I should have.
Yeah.
Come on. Are you serious? Yeah, I would say those things. I'm going to go with frick. Yep.
Frick.
And Camilla's going to guess, are you serious?
Yeah.
Seriously? Something like that. It'll have the word serious in it.
Yeah.
Destin is going to guess a swear
Okay.
because he thinks I employ too many.
It's super lame, but it'd probably be like some sort of grunt or sound more than a word. He definitely does not swear just out of like instinct or rage. I think it'd be more like a or like some sort of sound as opposed to a word.
What a great question. I would say it wouldn't be a word. He would say, "Oh, gah!" He would say something like that.
Well, they clearly have seen the sanctimonious side of you. You've obviously used some self-restraint around them, and they think wonderful things of you. But in your heart, and God knows clearly, there's some other bombs being dropped. That's great.
I don't think they know what they're frickin' talking about.
They get it. I have a personal policy of don't swear out of anger. Like for a joke or something, that's different. But if I'm by myself, yeah, well, maybe then. I think it's funny that they just came up with grunts. That's funny.
I think the sentence that follows the word is always a really telling sentence. Are you serious? Like, you cannot be serious. Or are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? And this sort of that kind of little conversation with yourself, which is always telling it, but not again. And it's always got there's a lot packed in behind that all the time, rather than the initial word.
I do every one of those phrases verbatim. I absolutely use all of those. Come on, seriously, are you serious? Dang it. Whitman, come on. Yeah, and Matt, Matthew, and Whitman, I'll use all 3 to refer to myself in disgust for making self-inflicted errors.
Do you really talk about yourself or to yourself in the third person? That's great.
Yeah, but not in sports. So if I screw up in tennis, I'm not going to yell at myself. I have no ally on a tennis court. I'm the only one. I got no teammates. It's just me, so I'm not going to yell at myself in tennis. That's different. But if I hit myself with a hammer, yeah, I'll probably yell at myself a little.
Got one more question, Matt.
Yeah, okay, I'm ready.
If Matt could be any animal instead of a human, what would he choose?
Oh. This is not what is your favorite animal, because that's a trout. This is if I could be the animal. And if I were a trout, I don't get to go on land anymore. And I love land. So I wouldn't want to do that. But I would like to have air as an option. So what gives me the most get around option? Also, I don't want to die quickly. So I want this to be an animal that lives for a very long time. I mean, if somebody isn't thinking straight and they're like, I'd want to be a golden retriever. Well, I'm so sorry, you've got 8 years to live.
I'd love to be a mayfly. They look so pretty.
Okay, be an animal. I guess I'm going to go with, I like to explore. I like to go and see things. So I guess I'd go with like bald eagle because it has bald in the name and it can also fly. That seems pretty good.
Yeah.
And then Camilla or Destin is going to say trout because they're going to mistake the question for favorite animal. But I would not want to be a trout. That head on a swivel, people constantly wading into your water trying to trick you with fake food. Eagles, bald eagles coming along, ripping you out of the water. No. Camilla knows I like to play fast. She might say cheetah. That's a long shot. I don't know what Camilla's going to say. Destin's going to say trout. That's my guess.
Destin's going to say trout, and Camilla, cheetah. What are you landing on? You're going for cheetah, are you?
Yeah, she knows I like to move. I like to do fast things.
You feel the need for speed. Let's have a listen.
That's really tricky. He really likes wildlife. Okay, so probably something really athletic or fit, but also something really wise. Maybe like a fish so that he could go down in the ocean and explore. I'm really bad at being specific, Brady. I'm sorry. I'm going to say like a deep sea fish. Maybe I'm going to say octopus.
These are great questions. Oh, crap. I would say, golly, a trout. He'd be a trout.
I'm honored by those answers. An octopus. I did not see that coming. But I like that. They're clever and they always escape their confines. I can work with that.
Okay. You've got
might be aliens.
Do you think the bald eagle, you know how it looks cool? Do you think it knows it looks cool? You know, like of all the eagles, we think the bald eagle, you know, it's because it appears on all sorts of, particularly in America, of course, insignia. Do you think it knows? Do you think it's all vain? It's posing. It looks like it's posing. Do you think it knows how cool it looks?
It's just got that perfect neck. Like the way its neck and its beak work together, it looks so regal. I would think you would have to know. Or maybe we derive our notions of what regality looks like from it. So we're reading back on. Do you guys have bald eagles there?
We have eagles. I don't know if we have bald eagles. No.
No, we don't have bald eagles. We've got a really impressive one called a wedge-tail eagle, which is a very, very big eagle with a big wingspan. Ooh. A friend of mine was once driving along the highway in Australia, which are, very empty roads. And often if there's like a carcass on the side of the road, like a kangaroo or something that's been hit by a car, you'll get wedge-tail eagles come and land on them and eat them. And he was driving along at high speed towards like a carcass on the road and was getting ready just to drive around it like you do. And as he got close to it, he realized there was a wedge-tail eagle on it. And as he tried to evade the whole situation, the wedge-tail eagle like rose and started flapping its wings, which is like wider than the car. And he drove into the eagle, and the eagle smashed his windscreen, and he was driving his elderly mother who was in the passenger seat, and the eagle ended up in the car with them, in the front of the car with him driving and his elderly mother, and with its huge talons, its huge claws, it started scratching at his mother, and his mother ended up getting all these scratches and injuries and stuff, and she had to go to hospital. She was really, really seriously injured because they drove into an eagle and the eagle got inside their car. They couldn't get it out.
What in the world?
Nuts.
That is the most traumatizing story I've heard in weeks. I'm going to need a moment. Oh, golly.
Crazy.
We just watched Tommy Boy with the kids, and there's a dead deer carcass that comes back to life in the back of the car in that movie. And they just thought that was the funniest thing ever. But I've never really run the mental scenario of what if that happened? How do you get a giant 8-foot wingspan furious eagle out of your car?
Out of your car. Presumably he had to stop the car first. Anyway.
Huh.
I'll tell you what, Matt. That was, well, hang on a second. What do you think of my podcast idea? What do you think of the idea of getting guests on, people like yourself, people who have, like an internet persona and like an internet offsider, like you have Destin and I have Tim and things like that, and doing this Mr. and Mrs. and co-host and sort of comparing how well the two know each other?
I actually thought it was really fun. It rises and falls on the quality of the questions, though, and those were really good. I mean, am I supposed to hate I want to understand the program properly. It seems like as I've listened, I actually find myself liking a lot of the ideas for podcasts that remain unmade. And
Yeah.
I think this is a good idea for a podcast. I had fun playing and felt like I wasn't contributing enough along the way because I was thinking so much about the answers. I think it's really clever.
Would you listen? Would you listen to other people, other creators and people who you like in the world if they came on and were doing what you just did? Do you think it'd be something you'd listen to?
I would like it for both creators I like and for personalities I don't like, because I would like to see people who carefully guard how they come off and what they allow themselves to say squirm over those questions. And I would also enjoy people who I think are authentic and normal squirm over those questions. Yeah, that's fun.
Thank you for playing. And as I said, if you would like to hear Tim and I both go through that exact same process where we answer those exact same questions and our wives attempt to answer them, and Tim and I answer them for each other and see how well everyone knows each other, you can do that if you are a Patreon supporter. That will be in the request room. You all know how to listen to that by now. But Matt, it's business time now. I can't believe we've been going so long, but we might not give you as much time for your ideas as we hoped. But
I understand.
I need to hear them, and I know Tim's
Okay.
dying to hear them.
Okay.
Tell us your first idea for a podcast.
All right. My first idea is, it might not catch on, but I think it's efficient. This is a podcast idea that would work for someone who already does a podcast. And you know this. I mean, Brady, do you edit Unmade? Is this your handiwork?
Yes,
Okay.
I do. I do edit it, yes.
What kind of stuff do you take out?
I take out not as much as you might think. The most of the editing and the work I do is just taking out a little bit of cross talking. One of the things I have to take out quite a lot, and it's one of the interesting decision points for me, is because Tim and I have quite similar senses of humor. Sometimes a joke opportunity just presents itself and we both make the same joke at the exact same time. And like on the editing tracks, we've crossed over each other, making the same joke. And then I have to decide who gets the joke,
Who gets it?
who gets the moment. Sometimes I'll say, okay, Tim can have that one. Sometimes I'm like, nah, I want that one. I'm muting Tim. So that is one of the more interesting things I take out.
Well, I don't edit our podcast. We have a wonderful lady named Tina, longtime friend of mine, who edits the podcast from us. She refers to herself as a spicy Latina grandma, and she's right. She does a great job of cleaning up Destin's mouth noises, because Destin makes a lot of mouth noises. Do you know what I mean by that? Do you guys make?
Yeah.
Do you
Well,
encounter that
no,
when you're editing?
We don't have big problems with that. Occasionally there'll be little clicky moments, but no, it's not a big problem for Unmade. But, we're not drooling, slobbering messes like Destin is.
Well said. I think it's an American thing. There's something about the way y'all hold your faces when you talk. It just sounds clean. And especially if you've ever engineered audio a little bit, or you do any kind of editing with audio tracks, spoken word, you notice who speaks cleanly and who doesn't. And both of you are just crystal clear. It's absolutely lovely on mic. We're not. We are drooling slobs. And as a result, there's a lot of noises. And I thought I could have twice as many podcast episodes if we released the No Dumb Questions episode, but then also the negative, and call it like No Dumb Questions, oops, only mouth noises.
Right.
And it's going to be a little bit shorter.
Just the cuts.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I hear you. I hear
actually-
you.
I took the liberty of preparing a 35-second clip
Yep.
just to run this by you to see if maybe you think this has a future. I'd like
Okay.
you to be honest. If
Okay.
you're not into it, tell me. But hear me out. There's a little intro music. I'll just play it for you.
Is this you or is this
see if you can hear
Destin? Or both?
Boy, it's really hard to tell because mouth noises are, there's not a signature to them.
Nah.
But let's just see what we get here. Feels like that could be internet gold.
Well, I mean, it would definitely be for someone who's a really big fan of you guys. Like, just wants everything. They just want maximum content. Like, I just can't get enough of those guys. I feel robbed that they've been cutting out those coughs and slobbers and clicks.
It's horrible.
I wonder if you could slightly expand this idea a little bit. So, like, I think the actual edit cuts, that's a deep cut, right? That's a real deep cut. But I wonder if the conversation that happens beforehand is slightly more. Like if I think about a rock band recording an album, I don't necessarily want to hear them clearing their throat before they start singing. But I would love to hear the conversation with the producer before they had a go. You know what I mean? Hey, this one, I want you to do this, this, and this. And try and imagine you're doing this, this, and this when you sing. I'd be really interested. I'd like to hear, Nick Cave or Bono or someone like that. I'd all those little bits which show me how they've approached the performance. That would be interesting. So I reckon there's like a behind-the-scenes-y kind of bit. But that's quite a bit different from the deep, deep cuts, I think, from deep, deep throat that you're going with.
Well, in reality, I do think that would be fun. Just the crap that we say off mic, but on mic, not for public consumption, but working it through, gaming out what we're doing, or the little asides where we're like, hey, we're at 45 minutes here. We really should pivot to this next thing. And also, I have a joke that I want to say, so just pretend like this is funny, please. That kind of stuff where we just give each other crap, or you'd have to put a rating on it. But if it's getting stale, we will say alarming things to each other while recording. We know it'll never make the final edit, but it's just meant to grab the other by the lips and yank a little bit to get things moving again.
Yeah, I mean, I love all that stuff. I love that. The part of me that edits, because a typical episode of Unmade has probably got several hundred cuts, and most of them may just be an or an R or a little click of the mouth or when one of us starts speaking and has to abort because the other one has spoken instead. And like just seeing that, I like how you put it, the negative of the podcast is quite like a fun thing that tickles my brain as an editor. Clearly it's not a viable idea, but that's good. We don't want viable ideas necessarily. We like the funniness.
Okay, let me try for viable then. First one, screwing around. This one, real idea. Here we go.
Okay.
We call this movie bickering or pop culture bickering or culture bickering. It has to have bickering in the name. You have two people who are pretty well saturated in the world of pop culture, and then you pick a topic, and it's like a debate. There's a positive and a negative, but there will be no in between. This will be from you flip a coin, and that decides in the moment, live on air, who is going to be the positive and who is going to be the negative.
Right.
But if the topic that you're dealing with is, I don't know, a show on Netflix, Wednesday, that's come out recently as we're recording this on Netflix. The only options for how to argue for that are, this is the greatest piece of art ever made. This is the pinnacle of human achievement, or this is absolute garbage and you're a moral monstrosity if you like it. And it must be personal. The argumentation needs to be ad hominem at every turn, and it's half an hour to just be absolutely withering in your argumentation in defense of or in criticism of whatever piece of pop culture you're discussing. And then you're done. Like the bell rings, the time is up, and then you do the thing where you like let down your guard, like, I'm really sorry about what I said about your grandma, and then you kind of rehash all of it together.
I mean, why have that part at the end? Why not stand your ground and be true to the joke and true to the idea? Like, I mean, people know that it's not your true opinions. Like, that's kind of the thing of the show. I feel like I think doing that thing at the end is a bit, well, it's probably very Matt, because you're very polite and kind. But I don't think you need that at the end. I love the idea of the bell rings and you just walk away. You walk away. Like,
And it all just counts.
I give you nothing. It's completely polarized. I've had my say, you've had your say, and I'm giving you nothing. I'm done. I think the end bit undermines it a little bit.
Okay, we ditch the end bit. I mean, then it feels like a real critique of how we have cultural conversations. Then it feels like it's actually fruitful, as opposed to two buddies just having fun and doing shtick.
What you think, the bit at the end where everyone apologizes does that?
Yeah, I think you're probably right. I think it probably does undercut it in terms of, yeah, I think it's stronger without it too. I think you make a good case.
Look, anyway, by the by, the actual guts of the idea, the debate. Tim, what do you think? I mean, it's kind of like real debating, isn't it? Like professional debating is that. Sometimes you're debating a position that's not your true belief.
Oh, that's right. The fact that you flip a coin at the beginning means that you can see someone's going to take a position rather than it coming entirely from a visceral kind of place. But it does shift the podcast a little bit more to the skills of the person to debate, rather than the arguments themselves. But are you thinking the same people every time? Like, let's say it would be you and Brady were doing a podcast, and every time it was flip the coin, and you'd start to get a sense of the kind of thing that Brady really does like, but he might be having to argue against it on this occasion, and you know what I mean. So there's that. His skills at being able to do that would come to the fore rather than the thing you're actually debating.
I think it would be fun if it were a troupe, where maybe you had a couple of people who were the mainstays, but you had a circle of 10 or 15 people, enough that the audience would get to know them over time.
Yeah.
Get a sense, read between the lines, figure out what they actually like and what is hard for them to argue for or against or whatever, so that they would start to delight in, oh, I hope it's tails. I hope it's tails. I hope Tim gets stuck absolutely roasting Handel's Messiah. I want him to do a complete takedown of this piece of trash, overrated, bloated, self-important work of art that he actually loves, if you actually do. Something like that, where the personalities come into play and people are rooting for certain people to have to argue against their best interests or what they know they actually prefer.
Matt, do you think you would be good at this?
Yes, absolutely. Especially if there was some sort of ring of moral invisibility that I could put on for when I record the thing, and there's no accountability whatsoever for what I say. That'd make it even better. Just to try on absolutely bone-crushingly cruel ad hominem argumentation. That'd be a blast, but there is no ring of moral invisibility, so...
If there was a podcast that Brady was well suited to, it's this one. Having gone through school with Brady and all the way through, I know that he firstly loves the argument. Is a very good debater and a good conversationalist in this. But I also know that he will adopt positions that are contrarian, just to throw them in there, just to give the conversation balance. He plays devil's advocate all the time, and in some ways that's kind of his trope, to play the devil's advocate, which always enriches a conversation, because particularly if you're sitting around with a bunch of people, so often it turns into a tribe of agreement and in a circle of ignorance as well. And so he takes a different position, and it doesn't necessarily mean that he holds that position, but he believes that position should get an airing. And it's great fun. Yeah, it's really good. It's a wonderful skill.
Look, Tim, I'm going to disagree with you on that. and I'm not doing it just for the joke, because one time during a football World Cup, a soccer World Cup, there was a big game that was about to happen between Australia and Italy. And I was living in England at the time. And the local radio station where I worked, I was working in TV, but the local radio station was having a debate, and they wanted to get an Australian and an Italian to come into the studio to have a debate about which team is better and which one would win. So I was the token Australian, so I was taken into the studio. And they took in this young girl who worked there as well, who must have been barely 18, 20. She was a lot younger than me. And she was very nice and very sweet. And we were having a little chat beforehand, knowing we were about to go into the studio. And then we went into the studio together, and the red light went on to show that we were live on air going out across the UK. And I thought, I'll be able to handle this, no problems. And she absolutely pasted me. She just turned into a monster, and she spoke over me. And every time I tried to say anything, she spoke over me. And then when I finally got a word out, she twisted my words around and made me sound stupid. And it felt like I was being beaten up for 5 minutes live on air. I got absolutely decimated, and I walked out completely broken. So I think if it's you and I sitting on the sofa and I just want to give you a hard time about religion, yeah, okay, I can do that. But in the heat of battle, when it's real debating and it's really fiery, I think maybe I fall apart a bit.
Wow, that's interesting. So it only works when the stakes are low. When the stakes are high, you're just as likely to freeze as the rest of us. Is that right?
Yeah, because I once went speed dating when I was a single man, and I won't tell the whole story. I'll save it for another podcast. But I thought I'd be good at that too. I thought, I got, gift of the gab. I'd be able to, impress the ladies as they came past with little anecdotes and stories. And that was, without doubt, one of the worst and most humiliating nights of my life. And I was terrible. And it just went from bad to worse to the worst to worse. Oh.
Is it because you cared? Is that why? Is it because you really cared? No?
Nah, I didn't care.
No. It's because I made lots of really bad mistakes. I'll tell the story one day, but let's go back to Matt, who's hit us with an excellent idea. The bickering. I mean, basically you've reinvented debating, but yeah.
But you pick something everybody knows about that's relatively low stakes to fight about.
Yeah.
And that it feels like if you do abortion or police brutality, we're not going to have any fun.
No.
If you do Nicolas Cage's Face Off, we're going to have a nice time here.
Yes.
You would change the stakes.
Yeah. I've had a lot of those debates about that very film, actually.
Oh, well, good. I'm not even going to question that. I believe you.
I like that idea because there is one inherent part of comedy is taking something small and blowing it up as being absolutely of great significance. And so this is a way of fighting for, as we say in Australia, we say fighting for sheep stations, like high stakes, going all in on something very, very small. Works. It always works. It's great.
All right. Well done, Matt. We're giving you that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is there like a thumbs up, thumbs down system? Is this
Nah, we don't
permission to move forward?
We now own the idea, just by the way, contractually, so you can't now go and make that. If we choose to make it, it's ours. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I had Matt sign some papers.
I wasn't paying attention.
No.
Okay, I have one more, even though I signed the papers. I like this idea.
All right.
I would love to actually do this someday. I'm okay if somebody steals it, but I would love to do it. I find that as an American, we have a reputation for being a lot of things. But I think one of the positive things that I hear as feedback, from people in other countries about us, is that we tend to be pretty friendly. We'll strike up a conversation with anybody, even if we'll never see them again. That's normal to us. That isn't weird at all. If you're in line with somebody, why would you not talk to them? What are you going to do? Look at your dumb phone? Come on. Talk to the people around you. It's way more fun. That's kind of our thing, or at least in my part of the country, it is. Maybe in the bigger cities, that's weird, but here we do it. And one of the things I always like to get to in those conversations is, without being quite so overt, I like to steer the conversation toward the person I'm talking to, telling me where they're from and why it's awesome. Just tell me about your thing. I want to know, tell me about the geography. Tell me about the climate. How big is the town? What are the people like? What's the history? Have there been movements in your little community where there was the era of this and then there was the era of that? And what is the future? What is the next era? What do you think is going to happen? And I love pulling on the string far enough to get to the point of hearing about local legends, stuff that you can't Google about a town, like the time that old lady McCormick went missing for 3 weeks in the woods, and then one day she just came back and nobody ever knew what she was doing out there. Everywhere has some goofy little thing like that, and you'll never get to hear those stories if you don't kind of have that local legend. Tell me about your thing that only you would know as somebody who grew up there and knows all the inside stuff, and it's all stuff that it's not Googleable. You'd never put that on the internet. AI can't give you that. You can only get that from somebody who, for better or worse, loves the place where they're from and knows the stories and is soaked in the rhythm, the annual rhythm of being in that place. And I think it'd be really cool to get somebody you don't know, but who can handle their business on a microphone, and have them call in and just pull on that thread. Tell me about who Caresville in this country that most people have never heard of, and just keep asking questions until you got a great feel for it, like you have the local insider knowledge of that place, and then wash, rinse, repeat.
Yeah, nice. I mean, so obviously this has to be on a small scale. So if you meet someone from Argentina, you don't want to hear them tell you the history of Argentinian politics and that. You want that small scale, my village, my small town, my street, my neighborhood, obviously.
Yeah, and I don't want, Argentina's actually like this. Because when you have those conversations with people, it's always people trying to frame it the way they wish it was, as like an advertising campaign, more than how it actually is. People don't know how it actually is, but they can know that about their town, their city, their little county or sub-region of their state or whatever it is. That's the stuff I want, where you pinch zoom in tight enough that you're actually talking with an expert about something they just know in and out. And isn't it always fun when you talk to somebody who's an expert in something and they're passionate about it? And I think this is just a topic that kind of gets overlooked.
There is a show in Australia, a television program called Backroads, and what it does is it just goes into a small town in the middle of nowhere and explores that town and does a little bit of that kind of thing. And in some ways, all small towns are kind of the same. So you need to get beyond that into those stories and personalities and history. And it is fascinating. You realize that every small town is also like a whole unique world in itself as well. They've all got a footy club, they've all got a netball club, they've all got a pub, but then you get inside that to the people and the stories and a few families, and you suddenly realize there's this whole history that's held to really strongly. And if you get in close enough and you pull the thread, as you say, you can hear some pretty great stories about local legends in particular. I like that. And big disasters, they're all defined by these big disasters that happen at certain times. The flood, before and after the flood, for instance, or in Australia, generally it's a bushfire. Yeah,
we're a flood town. Before and after the flood, that's us. I live right next to the lake that flooded and killed all those people in the 70s. And still, the whole layout of the town, the way everything is built and put together, so much of it. I mean, I got a letter in the mail today about a construction project that has to happen that still has to do with the flood in the 70s. And I mean, yeah, I'm pulling on my own thread here and wanting to start unpacking things. So that makes me feel like it could work.
What town did you grow up in? Where are you from?
I am from a triangle of towns. The western point of my family's triangle of the mountain west of the United States is basically Yellowstone. The eastern corner of the triangle, the northeast corner, is the Black Hills of South Dakota, right where Mount Rushmore is. So if you say Old Faithful, people from other countries know what I'm talking about with that. If I say Mount Rushmore, everybody can picture that. So that's the other part of the triangle. And then those converge down south in Denver, Colorado, which is our closest big city. And so pretty much all of my growing up and family history is between those 3 points where both sets of my grandparents are from. And at different points, we've lived in kind of all those places.
So is there like one town that you say, I'm from here, like a specific little town?
Maybe I live in that town right now. I'm in Rapid City, South Dakota. This is where my mom's side of the family is from.
Where were you born?
An hour from here.
In a big city, in a big hospital, in a little town? What was the name of the place you were born? What's on your birth certificate?
Chadron, Nebraska, the south end of the Black Hills. The Black Hills are the first mountain range of the West in the United States. I think the high point of our little mountain range here, in order to get to that elevation again, you have to go all the way to the Pyrenees if you're going east. So we are the beginning of the big stuff in the western half of North America. So I was born on the south end of this little cute western mountain range, and now I live kind of right in the middle of that cute little mountain range.
So I actually did this idea, Matt.
Oh.
Because I was working for the BBC and I was covering a section of England called the East Midlands on the nightly news. And I had an idea called Route 366, because it was a leap year, and I had branding made for it that looked like the Route 66 signs, but except it said Route 366 and had the BBC logo, and I had that all put on my car. And over the course of the year, I was given free rein to drive around the country, and I had to visit 366 different towns or villages. And I didn't do videos or films about all of them. So some of them I would just visit and take a picture and leave, but about once a week, I would go to a town and with the mission of finding a story to tell about the town. And I would just pull over and walk up to people and say, I'm from the BBC, I'm looking for a story, what can you tell me? And I don't really remember many of them because it was a while ago, but the one I remember best was I pulled up in this tiny little town and there was an old lady watering her garden, and I said, I've never heard of this town, what's it famous for? And she said, there was this horse, I think it was Desert Orchid, that won like the Grand National a few times or something. It was one of the great racehorses of the UK and became like a famous horse. But it was from this little village, and it was born in this little barn down one of the side roads, and she took me to the barn and said, here's the stable where Desert Orchid was born. And she was so proud telling the story of this horse that had come from her village, and she wanted me to see all the places. And I remember I saw Desert Orchid, it used to be here in this field, and then it went off and became famous like it was a celebrity from the town, except it was a horse. And I remember being really touched by it. So it was fun going into all these towns and just saying, okay, you've got 2 or 3 hours, Brady. Find the story.
Did you get into the good stuff very often, or did you come away feeling a little flat most of the time?
Sometimes good, sometimes flat. But yeah, I mean, if it was flat, you just don't do it. You go to another town and find another one. So
sure.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a good idea. I love your idea of doing it as a podcast. I would love the idea more if you were going to the places rather than having them phone in. That obviously has massive cost implications.
Yeah, that does change things, doesn't it? I did a show called Ironwood Rhino. It was a 1-season show that I actually did where I had people call in, 1 guest per show, and they would tell me their weirdest outlier experience, something that doesn't fit within their understanding of nature.
Cool.
And then we would diagnose it and try to figure out what the heck happened. We figured out about half of them, I think, satisfactorily.
Okay.
About half of them, well, you're lying, you're crazy, you saw it wrong, or we just don't know what happened there. And it was fun. It was an epistemology show, really. It was how do we know stuff kind of program. But if I could have traveled and done that, like what you did, if I could have gone to the people and had them take me to the place where the things that they told me about happened, I mean, that would have been next level. But, oh, dude, the time, the money, the driving, my goodness.
Yeah, that was good stuff, mate. I liked them. I liked your ideas. I even liked the mouth sounds, and I liked your 2 serious ones. Tim,
Okay.
you happy with Matt? Was it worth getting him on?
It was worth getting Matt on. It was. It was marvelous to have Matt
Yeah.
on. Yes, It was.
It
No,
was.
lovely work. 3 ideas. Fair cop. He's paid his dues.
Now, Matt, I think a lot of people who listen to our podcast probably know who you are through your various ventures. But for those handful that don't, can you quickly give us a bit of a rundown of what you're up to, where people can hear more from you? We'll obviously put links below, but what should people go and have a look at?
Well, I've done No Dumb Questions, podcast with Destin from Smarter Every Day since forever. We're probably going on 10 years with that at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's been a minute. And then I do a daily podcast called the 10-Minute Bible Hour. That's my favorite thing. That's my main thing. It's literally I pick a book of the Bible and then we just chip away at it a little bit every day. And it's the tagline is it's the Bible without the sermon, because the point of the exercise is not to solve everybody's problems who's listening. It's what is this ancient, important, influential text? What is happening historically around it? And we can kind of have a laugh about some of the trickier things that come out of it. So do that. And then I have a YouTube channel that right now just has my name on it. And in it, I do a lot of different things, but probably the thing that the most people show up for is when I go to churches that are not like my own, from different traditions, and I get the priest or the clergy or whoever to give me a tour of the building. And I just go around and try to ask all the questions any normal person would want to know about a church. Why do you wear that outfit? How come your crosses have that line on them, but other crosses don't? Why come do you have that statue right there? And why is Mary dressed like that? And in other churches, it seems like she's dressed differently. Who do you get along with? Who do you guys tend to fight with the most? Like, I just ask them all the questions that I would want to know. And for the most part, people are pretty cool about it and play ball. It's like they like talking about the things that they're into, but we actually go with a camera. So you get to see the church, you get to see the stuff that we're looking at, and you get to meet people from other traditions.
That sounds like a church version of your third idea today on the podcast.
Maybe kind of. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I have a book coming out. The Lightning Fast Field Guide to the Bible. It's up for pre-sale right now. It is my attempt to, as quickly and efficiently as possible, cover each book of the Bible and just why it's in there and what it's doing. What you do with it, that's up to you. But the quickest, most efficient, normal human person read, asking questions like you would ask of a show that you would watch or a movie or whatever, like the stuff that you would want to know about a cultural text.
Cool.
I like that.
Good
I've got
stuff.
so many ideas bouncing around my head. I didn't know about the book. All that stuff will be linked to down below. I've just had an idea for a podcast. I would love to do a 66-part series with Matt, or, for one for each book of the Bible. And in each one, all I want him to do is criticize and tell me what's bad about each book of the Bible and say nothing whatsoever positive about it. That's a spin on his idea.
I'd do it.
You do it?
We'd have fun.
I want hate on each book of the Bible.
Come on, man.
But it's got to be the other way too. You've got to take the contrarian position, Brady. You've got to then herald and go, no. I'm the other side of the coin.
Yeah.
This is awesome. This is amazing. This is grace-filled.
No, I don't. In this case, I don't want that. I don't want an advocate. I want just I think for some reason, I think it would be funnier just this man of God being forced to. Yeah. Anyway, Matt, I'm going to link to all that stuff down below for people to check out. Don't forget the request room if you want to hear Tim and I answer all those questions that Matt and Camilla and Destin answered so well. Special thanks to Camilla and Destin for helping me drop Matt in it. Although he didn't really get dropped in it as much as I hoped, but oh well. Tim, see us out? Any final thoughts?
Matt, it's been fantastic having you on. Brilliant.
It was nice to meet you, Tim. It's long overdue.
Oh man, it's when I heard you were a friend of Destin's, I was like, I really want to meet this guy. And then I saw your gear, and I'm like, oh, this is good gear. Online, I love what you do. So, and look forward. I'll pre-order your book.
Can I have a signed copy of your book?
Of course.
Because I like having. I've got a bookshelf of all the books by people who I know and have done videos with and podcasts and that. But I like having them signed. I don't know. It's become a bit of a obsession completionist thing for me. So I'm worried if I just pre-order one from a bookseller, it won't be signed. So how do I get a signed copy?
No, let's do it right. Next time I see you, I'll just mail it to you. That'll work.
All right, we'll figure something out.
Yeah, we'll get it synced up. And I'm going to steal that idea. Why have I not been doing that? That's a really good idea.
What's that?
Having my friends who write books sign the books. I just go on Amazon and order them. That's boring.
Yeah. No, you can't get them
I know
signed.
these people. They've achieved something. It's an accomplishment. It's a season in their lives.
And you might get it for free. Hey, here's a little preview of the Request Room episode this week. If you're a Patreon supporter, you can listen to the whole episode now. If you're not a Patreon supporter, you can become one and go and listen to it now. Details down in the show notes.
The thing that came to my mind is when we were young, you would just forever be getting corn chips and putting cheese all over them and putting them in the microwave and eating that. And you seem to live on that for weeks and weeks at a time. And so now that you're all grown up and proper and eating healthy, it's all a little bit weird, but I think you'd regress back to that again.
I don't think I'm grown up and eating healthy, as Kylie's probably about to say. Although I think she should say prawns. She's probably going to try and drop me in it for some unhealthy eating. Let's hear from Kylie.
Prawns. Disgusting. Or maybe it would be like Tim Tams or some kind of sweeties.
Well, she got it right and got the dig in, so well done.
Yes, no, that's right. She still had a bit of a go.
Yeah.
I love it.